Good morning. Welcome to this service of Unity of Burning. We're glad you're with us as usual. You're in the house at Loveville. They will be talking about the greatest love of all.
But it's gonna be any good. Let's try it. So
I'm so glad you're with us, and be prepared for this hour of inspiration and reflection, meditation, contemplation, and visualization, all these things that we do that remind us who we really are. We'll be talking about that this morning. God bless you. Thank you for joining.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, my name is Ann King, and Thom Allen, I think, is doing our music for us today. David's doing the PowerPoint, and we thank everybody that joins us every Sunday for just being here. We're going to start by standing, singing our joy song, Work Wonders from Within.
Work wonders from within. That's where to look within. There's no use looking somewhere else for power that you need to win. Work wonders from within. Be sure you look within. Just take your time from outer fears. Don't think it's too late. Begin in you, in me. There's power to be in you, in me. There's power that will set us free. My course is up to me. Your course is up to me. So I set my mind to use my power. It wonders I want to see. So I set my mind to use my power. It wonders I want to see.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'm going to look around, and there is nobody here that's their first time, but I would like to welcome everyone else that did show up today. Inside your bulletin, there's a prayer request form, and we all know that group prayer is very powerful, so if you or someone you know might benefit from group prayer, please fill that out, and when the prayer box comes forward, you can drop it in. You can always drop it in the morning before church, or even after church, too, if you feel like it. And our own prayer team prays over them for a year. After that, it's sent to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for 30 days. So, announcements today. Just a reminder that we reuse the jackets for the order of service, so you can take out the inside but leave the jackets until the last Sunday of the month. And there are complimentary September, October daily words in the back. If you don't have one, you're welcome to pick one of those up. We're going to El Rio today for lunch and should have a pretty good group. And if you haven't told me to push you down, let me know. I generally right before church starts, make a reservation and add 2 to it. Sometimes we have 4 that I need to add to it, but I try to add a couple more for any extra people. There's an announcement on here about the membership manual, and if you didn't need it, talk to Kathy or Marlon. They've been absent for a while because they've got a bunch of family stuff going on, but I think too, you can probably get their contact information from someone if you need it. It doesn't mean they're out of town all the time, but there's just stuff happening with them. So next Wednesday is our women's luncheon, and we're going to be at the Hungry Horse, and Sherry is here. Raise your hand, Sherry. You can tell her if you want to go, but also on Monday, Patricia sends out an RSVP to let her know. We do need to know for making reservations, but please don't RSVP to the notice, because that doesn't go to Sherry. That goes to Unity Church of Bernie, which may or may not get checked on for a while. But Sherry's number is in there, so you can call her if you don't talk to her today and let her know you do want to come. And we've been having, about a dozen?
Yeah,
10 dozen
10 to
people.
12.
It's been really nice. Also, too, the second and fourth Fridays, I do have the Edgar Casey study group, and we've had anywhere from 10 to 22 in that group every single time. So it's some people are or has followed Edgar Casey for years. Some people never heard of Edgar Casey until they started coming to the group, but it's interesting and there's a lot of discussion and it's fun. So we also have the Sunday morning book discussion, which has been fantastic. This book is so good that we're getting down towards the end of it, and we will be choosing another book pretty soon. So if you'd like to come to that group and you know a book that might be interesting for us to be our next book, let us know. And when we get closer to the end, I'll make a list and we'll talk about all of them, and then the group votes to see what we want to have. So, and that is the 21 Skills of Spiritual Intelligence is what we're finishing up. And anybody that is here that is not getting the weekly emails of what's coming up in church or our monthly newsletter or whatever, or even the reminders from Patricia that go out to all the people that are involved in the service that day, number one, check your spam. And number two, put your name down again with your email on that list and she'll pick it up and make sure it's right in the computer and stuff. So, the church is, the board has asked for this. I don't know if they're getting any input or not, but they asked for anything that you think would be nice for us to donate to as a charity. And I know they have a few things on their list already, but those things are rotated. So, you know, whether it's, we do give some money, I think, to Unity Village, various things, whether it's Silent Unity or the association or whatever, but also we do some local stuff around here. So if you have anything, let them know, and if it's not already on there, maybe they'll add it. And we do have a lot of things going on Zoom every week. I know it's Wednesday and Wednesday and Thursday for sure. What's the other day? Monday?
Monday.
Okay. And I don't know if it says this in your order of service or not, but they've changed books now on Monday for the book discussion, and it is Conscious Union with God by Joel Goldsmith. And in your order of service, it's got how to get on and stuff. Plus, you can always go to unityoflearning.org or .com and find it that way too. It'll give you a link. So. We're now going to have the reading of the daily word by Pat.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as it is a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. Let me get to the daily word for today. The daily word today is belong.
Faith. Faith.
Belong. As spiritual beings, we all belong in the heart of God. A true sense of belonging is one of the best feelings in the world. It's knowing I am at home, fully accepted just as I am, and valued for my unique contributions. Today I celebrate my belonging as a divine being, a child of God. No matter my station in life, my personal history, or my particular circumstances, I am a valued member of the human family. I extend this understanding to all others. I look beyond appearances and even my own preconceived notions to see my fellow divine beings. I honor their unique gifts just as I would want them to honor mine. We belong together. We belong to one another. We all belong in the family of God. The Bible verse is from John 17, verses 20 through 21. I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one. The affirmation today As spiritual beings, we all belong in the heart of God. And I don't think you have that in your bulletin, but I'll read it again. As spiritual beings, we all belong in the heart of God. My name is Pat, and I thank you for worshiping at Unity of Burning today.
Thank you, Pat.
Please stand now for our miracle moment. And we can say that together. I give myself
permission to lovingly care for myself. I release any condemnation I may have of myself or others, and am made in His moment. I walk forward confidently towards new life that is mine now, and so it is.
And now our celebration song, Confident Living.
So you got your marching shoes on? Because this is a route. This is going to get us up here this morning.
Good.
Confident living, banner of light, comes from the Spirit with glorious light. Confident living, cleanses my soul, giving the Spirit fullness control. Confident living, rights every wrong, dynamic power, helps me be strong. Confident living, comforts my heart, but the blessing I can't depart. Confident living helps me expand, giving the value the kingdom at hand. Confident living, talent to win, gift of the Spirit moves from within. Confident living, rights every wrong, dynamic power helps me be strong. Confident living, comforts my heart, such a blessing I can't depart. Confident living keeps me aware, ever that true love is found everywhere. Confident living opens my way, open my channels without delay. Confident living rights every wrong, dynamic power helps me be strong. Confident living comforts my heart, with such a blessing I can't depart.
Thank you, and remain standing for our opening prayer, which we can say together.
Unity of Burning is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you. Please be seated, and I'm going to turn this over to Reverend Jay for the remainder of the service.
Good morning.
Morning.
Wonderful it is to see all of you this morning. It's always a joy and a pleasure. And right now we come to the part of our service where we do what's called affirmative prayer. Because in our tradition we don't believe in begging or cajoling or a reticent God. There's a God that's there to pour out every good and wonderful thing. Seek us first, the kingdom of heaven, and all these things are added unto us. That's what we affirm. We affirm that God's perfect will is done in the lives of dear ones, and it is always good. If you have a prayer request in your bulletin, and I'm sure you do, if you haven't filled it out, rather than you won't, she'll take the time for you to do that right now. Otherwise, Sherry's going to come forth with the prayer box, and we'll begin our prayer. in the united love that we are right now here. We allow that to come forth in our expression as we uphold these prayer requests that are represented in this box, but also first in the hearts and the minds of those who have placed these in this box or have placed them at all. Some things that are being held in the heart. We know that God is love. Perfect love casts out all fear. And we affirm that the Spirit of truth is with these dear ones and active in these situations. We know that good is the law of the universe. We know God is good. Therefore, we know that His will is good and is being done in the lives of these dear ones right now. With all the love that we have and all the love that we are, we metaphysically touch those in need right now. And it's done. We know that somewhere, right now, someone's heart is breaking under the load of a life they don't understand. Be with that person. We know that that loving energy upholds all who feel that way, as well as those who are celebrating in joy. Spirit comes to us as we need it, and we affirm it's being done right now to each one of the lives who are open, receptive to this touch. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning again. Well, when I heard that Jay's topic today would be about the greatest love of all, first thing I did was scratch off that Whitney Houston song off the list of my potential, because for the simple reason that I'm not a Whitney Houston kind of singer, so that's code for I just couldn't do it justice. Whitney Houston, what a dynamic person. But I do have a song that kind of fits the bill and supports the point of, I think, the greatest love is being in the love and expressing ourselves within the love. And so it started out as more of a personal relationship song many years ago, but over the years it just became obvious that the lyrics just fit a personal relationship with God kind of song better. So here it is, a song about experiencing great love and being in the fullness of being in the Spirit. So join with me and let our love grow.
I'm in the heart of a feeling I simply cannot describe to you. I'm in the soul of the meaning. I feel the joy flowing all through and to, and I'm one God's love. I know it's true. I'm in the middle of a beautiful dream. We're given the chance any hope can reveal. Your heart knows the way. Listen to it say everything that you do with that zeal. You live in love. In love with that feel. Let love flow. It's the only thing that brings us through. Feel alive. In the heart of the feeling, the soul of the meaning, it's there for you. And you know it's true. You know you do. I feel I'm in the center of the universe. Whenever I hold myself in you, where God's love shining bright, pure sunlight, and I know it is you who gives the light to the moon to shine on my way. In darkness too. only thing that'll bring us through. Feel our life in the heart of the feeling, the soul of the meaning. It's the devil's song. You know it's true. You know it's true. I know you do. We know we do. You know you do.
Sorry. Wrong key. Thank you. Turned around and I was looking in the wrong place. Yeah. We'll not do that again. Thank you.
We love you, Tom.
Thank you.
You're doing good, Tom.
In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3. And I hear that same sweet spirit that I felt all times before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And the presence of the Lord is in this place because love is in this place. Right now, we take a deep breath and we center ourselves being aware of where we are. Our feet flat on the floor, palms in our lap, upraised or crossed or whatever feels good to you. And in the upcoming silence, we're going to remove our limited sense of self that sees very darkly sometimes and affirm what we really are, the radiant beings of light that receive the answers to every question. As we take a deep breath and center ourselves in love in this time of silence, remade, really recreated. We know who we are, and we come home to that. Everything that is unlike that we wish to experience, we release right now. We feel the revitalizing, recreated power that flows through us right now. We align ourselves with it. In this next moment of silence, we see, we visualize our lives in this new way that we've affirmed inside ourselves. Love, light, goodness, every wonderful thing we claim for ourselves right now. We forgive ourselves for past mistakes. We uphold the vision that we have had in this time of meditation. We're ready to walk forward in newness of life. And we give abundant thanks for the silence that blesses, for the presence that vivifies, and for the love that brings it all together. We declare it is so. Thank you, Thom. Well, good morning again. As always, it's wonderful to be with you. We have a visitor that came in too, so we want to welcome this person as they came in.
Anna.
Anna what?
Anna.
I know you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
I made it. I'm so grateful to be here.
Good. We're glad to have you. This morning I want to talk to you about a subject that's very near and dear to me because not only did I like the artist, it was a metaphysical truth. I'm sure that most of you remember that were around in 1991, and I think most all of us were, or 1990, when Whitney Houston sang about the greatest love of all. And she said a metaphysical truth in that song, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. A lot of people thought, well, that's sort of selfish because if I love myself, that's the greatest love. Well, that's not what I see it meant, and I don't think that's what she meant about it. When you love yourself truly, in the way that we teach here, you're loving the God that made you, that had you as an idea. If you think about self-love, and I will commend to you a good book from the 70s, Dr. Robert Schuller wrote a book called Self-Love that began to engage this idea that far from being considered miserable sinners in need of something out there, we begin to realize what we are and let everything unlike that go. The mind will not let you see what does not fit. So if we entertain a poor self-concept or a poor self-image, the words that I say or that any other minister or any other speaker, inspiration, whatever it may be, will not let it fit because you have a preconceived idea about who you are. Those preconceptions are the things that hold us back. When I talk about the greatest love of all, I'm not talking about only loving the truth of yourself. I'm talking about removing all the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. You may have heard about that in the Course in Miracles. That's a sentence that is pretty prime in that book. Removing all the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Because we don't need anything to be more than we are right now. We are more. We don't recognize it. And the reason we don't recognize it is what I've heard from so many people. Life is just so daily. It wears me down. I live in a world where everything is outward. Everything anything. I have to worry about the things that have to do with my body, my job, my finances, my car, whatever it may be. We're constantly looking out. And there's a place, there's a level to do that on. I call it the 10% level. The things that we have to do in this world just as a matter of getting by. But do you know the other 90% is really spent, if we'll do it, in aligning ourselves with purpose and direction, and really what I call running ourselves. Or even better than that, surrendering to the greatest love of all, the God presence that's in you. But as I've said before, we look outward for salvation. We look to something, someone, some idea, something beyond what we think we don't know. The truth is, you're powerful beyond measure. And the reason that it's beyond measure is because you are a living, breathing idea in the mind of God. Does that sound naive? Does it sound like just minister speak? Does it sound like something that, well, it may work for others, but not for me because you don't know what I've been through and what I've done? All these things are opinions. You create an opinion about yourself, and then even if it's bad, even if it's less than what you want, then you defend that opinion. Because more than anything, we have an ego that luxuriates in being right. We want to be right more than we want to be happy. Can you imagine the perverseness of some? No, really, it's the human condition. How many times have we sacrificed peace? How many times have we sacrificed direction, the good, orderly direction that's in ourselves, because we need to be right? Because we remember what happened and we're not ever going to forget it. The greatest love of all that I'm talking about this morning wipes that clean with a memory, an ancient memory that's inside you. And we access that in meditation or in beautiful moments of contemplation that remembers who you really are. We deserve a lot of credit coming to this plane of existence where everything seems to be separate, where there seems to be competition, and there is, but I mean where there seems to be these winners and losers and all these things that are happening in the relative time that's going on right now, forgetting that it's a flash in eternity. Some physicists say this world was over long ago, that we're walking through a script that was written, and it's over. That's kind of a scary thought, because if it's over, what am I doing here? What are you doing here? Is this really a dream? You know, Miss Mary Baker Eddy talked about the mortal dream. The Course of Miracles talks about the dream. That the reason it is because nothing here is permanent. And the only thing that is real is spirit, because it's changeless and it's eternal. But whatever you think about that, however you want to run that around in your mind, I think you'd agree that we're here for a breathtakingly short amount of time. And I believe that the purpose, beyond anything else that we have to do, is to love ourselves, each other, and forgive ourselves and each other. It's more important than any material possession you could visualize. It's more important than anything that you hold on to that you think defines you. So many people are scared to give up the ideas that they have about themselves because they don't know what they're going to replace it with. If you've held a faulty self-concept, if you believe things about yourself that aren't true, it's going to feel different to begin with, especially when you entertain new ideas. That's why affirmations need to be believable. You need to start really where you stand. There's nothing wrong with shooting for the moon, but be a little prepared for the trip. In other words, know that you have some things that you need to go through in your mind to give up. Spirituality isn't about getting so much as it is about letting go of things that don't serve us. We're not going to get some special dispensation from a God who says, okay, they got it. You've already got it. You had it all the time. And you lived in a world, in a country, whatever it may be, that loves to tell you that the answer is outside you. I refer you back to Dr. Schuler's self-love. The church especially needs to know who it is, what it is, and where it's going. I accepted that a long time ago. I was doing seminars 30 plus years ago. I spoke to all kinds of people. And you know what? I never, ever ran into anybody that had an abundance of self-love. Now, there was conceit. There was people that had senses of superiority. That's fear-based. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the self-love that's real, that really picks you up and carries you through. And what is that? That's forgiveness of yourself constantly. Because if you do that, you're going to forgive those that cross your path. You'll treat other people the way you treat yourself. You can't rise any higher than the opinions you hold. This is no mere opinion of mine. Really, this is the truth of the ages. This is what we speak about. This is what we are. If this church, and I don't mean just this one, if this church isn't about love and true love, then nothing else is really going to matter that we do. We can feed the homeless, we can clothe the naked, we can do all these things, but if there's not love back of it, if it's just being done by rote or because we think we should, if there's not love back of it, it's not going to last, because what we feel, what we allow to come forward inside ourselves will touch everything that we do. So it's the difference between, as I say, looking at the, for example, looking at the wrapper on the TV dinner, or taking that wrapper off and actually eating what's inside. So many people want to look at the wrapper. It says, that's beautiful, that's wonderful. Look at the, what I call the outside of spirituality and say, oh, that's pretty, but I couldn't do that. You can do it. Anything that anybody's done, especially spiritually, is accessible to you. There are techniques, there are principles that we affirm and believe here. There are any number of wonderful books that talk about the way to access spirit, but you want to know the real truth of the matter. If you want to cut to the chase, if you want the shortcut, it is being able to sit with yourself wherever you may be and let that imprisoned splendor come forth. And how do you do that? By releasing every limited idea you've ever had. And I don't just mean about what you can do. I'm talking about what somebody else may have done, what you may have done. That thing that you think defines you for the rest of your life. You're new every moment you choose it. We speak of newness of life here. Did I tell you? I think I did sometime back. And I tell you that the first daily word that I saw in that laundromat in 1983 was, I can begin again. That was the page that I have and carry to this day. Well, not on me, but I have actually I tore it out of the Daily Word laundromat. Wasn't that bad? Well, it was. But you know what I did though? When I got the Daily Words, I went back and gave them, when I started subscribing, I'd leave them at that laundromat. So I think that I made up for it. I love that. I can begin again. And what that Daily Word talked about was I could do it over and over as much as I need. In other words, God doesn't run out of chances. You have that anytime you want it. And if all these years of doing this has taught me anything, it's that people need to let go of what they think they are and be what they are. You had it all the time. You have it right now. You're going to hear affirmation of that by any person that's in this work that's worth their soul. I've told you before that I'm not a fan of somebody saying you're broken and need a repair. You may have made some choices that you wish you hadn't. You may feel like you're less than this morning. You may feel like you're carrying a burden that's just too much to let go of. But that's a thought, and a thought can be changed. And truly, the only way we change is first up here. We're not going to do anything out here unless it's first up here, and that goes for the good and what we call the bad. It all starts with a thought. And the antecedent to a lot of thoughts is the concept that you hold about yourself, the image you have. It's never too late. You're never too old. And I want to say almost you're never too young, because our children need to hear this so much. You're never too old, you're never too young to hear who you truly are. And I'm going to quote the one that I serve. You are the light of the world. You're the salt of the earth. You. And he spoke to the individual. But I think we also know that we're part of a greater oneness. And that what we do to ourselves is what we're going to do to other people. What we've done to other people, we first thought about inside ourselves. And see, it always comes back to us. There's another line in that song that Whitney used to sing that I love so much. Give the children a sense of pride to make it easy, and let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Remember when we were younger and we'd laugh, and it seemed like there wasn't any sort of problem that was, we couldn't overcome. We had a sense of playfulness. We took life lightly and gently. And then we, quote, grew up. We got real smart. We learned how to get hypertension, ulcers, nervous breakdown. Boy, we have good bank accounts that pay for that health care, don't we? That's the thing that, what does it profit a person if they gain the whole world and lose their own health, lose their own soul? You get the idea. The important part about today, wherever you may be, is you're right where you need to be. That's a metaphysical truth. Some people say, I don't believe that. What's the evidence for that? You're there. You're right where you need to be. The blessings are at hand. It's a choice you make from a thought you think, from a concept you hold. You'll never rise higher than the thoughts you have about yourself. The greatest love of all is coming to realize and understand. And that's the touchstone, the taproot, the lodestone of what I want to say this morning. I have said, and I believe it all the more as the years pass. The greatness in people is what you come to understand about yourself and about other people. The fact that what you may judge in someone else is hiding in another way in you. When the Course of Miracles said there's no hierarchy of illusions, that the axe murderer, is an aspect of myself. I thought, of course I'd never go do something like that. I'd never be an axe murderer. And then all of a sudden I realized what it really meant. There's no hierarchy of illusions. How many times have I destroyed my own dreams? How many times in my life did I take someone apart in my mind? It's the same thought, but carried to worse extremes, if you see what I mean. The idea that I can cut myself up or cut somebody else up. Yes, I'm part of a thought system. I just haven't acted out on something like that. You understand what I mean? It's a thought system of separation. This morning I would love to see everyone come to the idea of the integral whole that you are. And own those things that you think you can't forgive. Over and over again we need to hear When I said I've never seen a person who suffered from too much self-love, I mean exactly that. Because when you do that, when you're loving yourself and you're fulfilling your needs, you're going to give that away. That's how we're going to build a better world. If I tell you that we draw a line here, and this is me, and that's you, and that's it, we're never going to get any farther than where we are right now. So the truth, the poet sings, which was a book James Dillard Freeman, our Unity Poet Laureate, said. The truth, the poet sings, is the truth of your being. Love is who you are. It's practical. It's also one of the, well, not the one, it is the ultimate part of life. You'll never rise higher than the idea and the expectation you have of for yourself and of yourself. This morning, when you think about what I've talked about and the concepts of being more than you are, of loving yourself no matter what, and being able to carry that into the world, I want you to consider one other thing. Your mind not only won't let you entertain a concept that doesn't fit, but it won't fit if you hold on hard to the past. I know that. I love many things that happened in the past. I've had a lot of wonderful memories. The love is what is carried with us. That's the real part of us. Of course, a miracle says all your loving memories are bundled up together and carried with you for eternity. The fear, the upset, all that lost in the sea of time if you let it be. If you release that. So you see, spirituality is not so much about getting, but realizing. May you realize today, may you make real today the truth of who you are and what you are. And may you experience the greatest love of all by perhaps going up for the first time in your life, or maybe it's the 100th time. Look in the mirror and say, I accept everything I see. I may not like everything that what I see this person has done, but I forgive it. And I know that newness of life is mine. So I make that decision right now. And when you do that, you're on your way to walk into the new life we talk about. I bless each one of you on this road of realizing the greatest love of all. Thank you for being here this morning, and may you be abundantly blessed this week. Now comes the time. You say this pastor has the greatest love for the service is the altar. But I love it because it allows us to keep doing what we're doing here. You know that our meetings, of Course in Miracles, has grown. Litchfield has room, of course, but it's grown. And we have a book study on Monday night, and we're starting a new book, Conscious Union with God, a great author, Joel Goldsmith. Our Wednesday night Course in Miracles, Thursday night Pathlighters. It's just wonderful. Unity of Bernie is touching a lot of lives, and it's through your giving that we're able to do that. I ask you to give the best gift of which you're able. And those of you who are tuning in online, I ask you to press that PayPal button. I'm sorry? Oh, I thought so. I needed to hear something you were saying. Okay, excuse me. Or send your gifts to Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. And you'll be abundantly blessed. You know, you can't outgive this universe. So as Javier comes forward right now, take our offering. I ask you to give your very best. Thank you.
Love through me, but
together with all the love in our hearts, we say, divine love,
through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
So it is.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Together we stand and join hands if we feel comfortable to do it together.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my glorious vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together we say, the
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Another day, we'll just start.
Did you get your book in?
Yes, I did.
You know that?
I didn't know that before, but now I know.
You are. You are just as much a part of God as anything you And that's how it works here at Unity of Burning. Sometimes people come out of your class and just show up, and you're giving somebody a hug you haven't had a chance to have in such a long time, and you hear good stories, and now everybody is going home. Well, some of us are going to go sit down and break bread together, and we'd love to break bread with you too. So think about it, and maybe consider next week. You know, next week we're having potluck, and if you show up and you don't happen to have a dish with you, because you have to, because we've always got food to take home. Everybody takes home food home. By all means, come and join us next week. If you're a first timer, you get to go to the head of the line. We insist. And thank you very much. Till then, until next week, please from all of us here, have a great week.